Now, who would have thought that being in the presence and driving a Toyota RAV4 at any time in the RAV4's 20 plus year history, that it would be like being in the presence and driving an automotive celebrity? That's because this is not just a regular RAV4. No, this is the 2021 RAV4 Prime, the plug-in hybrid version, the one that Toyota's been touting since its introduction, the one that everyone wants to drive, the one that everyone loves. To be frank, everyone, every review that you've read that says that this thing is quite impressive in every respect, well, they're all right. And I am confirming that right now. Now, I've driven all the other versions of the RAV4, and well, this is obviously not the least expensive, but it certainly is one of the most interesting. Now, I won't go over all the other versions. However, I can tell you the base price for the RAV4 Prime is $38,100 in the US, $44,990 in Canada, meaning that it is eligible for all federal and provincial rebates, which in Quebec can be a considerable discount. But this is not a regular base SE RAV4 Prime, no, it's an XSE, which means that the basic 8-inch screen and 18-inch wheels and all that are enhanced to these 19-inch wheels, a 9-inch screen, black top, and a bunch of other features, including a power hatch. Now, it is priced in the US at $41,425, in Canada $51,590. A word on styling: Toyota somehow just figured a way to make it look even more powerful, even more premium. The gloss black, the wheels, the two-tone setup, this lovely supersonic red also does a great deal to enhance the visual enchantment. I know, a RAV4, right? That this Prime projects. Now, I'll tell you more about everything else that is included in the Prime, but we're going to do a very quick usual tour because why not? Okay, so what's important to know is that because of its larger battery, which would be fitted under the load floor and the back seat, well, Toyota's managed to package it in such a way, whereas this is now 33 and change cubic feet, only down 2 cubic feet from the regular RAV4. So that works out to like 950 liters versus about 1,060 liters, but it's still, you really can't tell. It's wide, it's deep, it's tall, it's perfect. Now on the inside, obviously it's a RAV4, so there is loads of room. Good visibility out the windows because the greenhouse is big. You can't really squeeze a third person in there, but it doesn't matter because everybody's happy, at least in my family. The other touches, you know, the soft text leather is what you get with the XSE and the two-tone job here. All right, so let's get in. Start it up. But you won't hear the 2.5 liter cylinder, 4-cylinder engine go off because, well, I'm half charged at this moment. I've been driving for the last half an hour or so, and well, here we are. There's the 9-inch screen loading up. What's really important are these drive modes. I'll tell you a little bit more about them as we go about, but essentially this is a no compromise RAV4. You do get all your information here on the standard 7-inch display. What else can I tell you? There's your heated steering wheel button. Fit and finish is great. Visibility is fantastic. The real important stuff happens from behind the steering wheel, so let's get down to the business of driving. Now, the real difference between the regular RAV4 Hybrid and the RAV4 Prime is obviously all about the size of the battery. Said larger battery is capable of delivering up to 68 kilometers or 42 miles of pure EV driving. I guess I'll note this now. Normally, I would complain and say that plug-in hybrid vehicles are smoke and mirrors, total craw. But that's because up until recently, and with only maybe one exception, most PHEVs are limited to 30 to 40 kilometers of EV range. When it comes to 60, or in the case of this one, close to 70, this is real world usable EV range. I mean, you can get to your average destination and come back on a single charge. For most of these other PHEVs, you get to where you want to go and you'll not make it back unless you plug it in on electric power alone. That's only part of the story with the RAV4 Prime, because although it still has a 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine, the electric motors, the one in the back and the one with the CVT, have been considerably tweaked, if you will, which means that output, if you take the output of the RAV4 hybrid, total system output is 219 horsepower. This one has 302 horsepower, which means that the RAV4 Prime is the second quickest vehicle in Toyota Canada's lineup after the Supra. Now that's kind of nuts. The thing is that even though it can do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 6 seconds or 0 to 60 miles per hour in 5.7 seconds, it doesn't feel unbelievably fast. You can tweak that in a way by playing with the drive modes. Now currently I'm in auto EV and I still have 19 kilometers of EV range, so I've essentially locked out as much as possible access to the petrol engine. So obviously acceleration isn't as crazy, but you can get up to well over 120 kilometers an hour, 80 miles per hour in electric mode alone. So far, I've been on the road for about 50 some odd kilometers, and I have not touched the petrol engine. Indicated range was 66 when I left. So far, a rough calculation is I will manage to do that 66, perhaps even more mileage on that charge. And believe me, I'm not driving like an old man. I'm driving as I normally would. Now beyond that, okay, if you want to recharge, the thing with one of the advantages to the XSE is that you have a 6.6 kilowatt onboard charger, which means that you'll only need like 2.5 hours to fully recharge the battery on a 240 volt plug. If you do it on a 110, 120 household outlet, it'll take considerably longer than that, but overnight you'll have more than enough time to fully recharge the battery and get on your way in the morning. As per the usual, the RAV4 Prime is built on Toyota's excellent global platform, which means that the ride quality, the handling is, for an SUV in the segment, okay, this one is pricier, but in the price range, is excellent. Even though this has a quote-unquote sport-tuned suspension, the ride is still relatively plush, compliant, smooth, enjoyable. Steering response is okay. There's one thing, because now this has an equivalent to regen braking, brake pedal feel is kind of mushy and has various modes and switches to it. When you get on the pedal easy, it brakes easy, but if you roll into it a little bit more, there's kind of a dead spots, and then it mechanically, if you will, picks up. I mean, that's something you easily get used to. It's nowhere near as bad as, say, the last Volvo T8 product that I drove, but still, something maybe to keep in mind. Otherwise, I mean, heck, this thing is exactly as impressive as I expected it would be. It's good fun to drive, extremely versatile, roomy, quiet, comfortable. And speaking of quiet, one of the biggest faults the RAV4 has, especially for the petrol versions or the non-hybrids, is that 2.5 liter engine is ridiculously loud. Now with the extra assistance from the electric motors, and I noticed that in the hybrid, the 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine is not exactly as challenging orally. So that's definitely a highlight. One of many, in fact, for the RAV4 Prime. Do you get one? The short answer is absolutely. If you can be patient enough. Otherwise, eventually, I'm assuming that availability will meet demand. In the meantime, a RAV4 hybrid, the regular one, is considerably less expensive, not available with all the federal and provincial rebates, but still, Very impressive overall. This is the RAV4 celebrity version, and it's good fun.